Welcome to vSkills YouTube channel. In this video, you will learn about the top interview questions for deep learning with Keras. So, let's get started. Question number 1. What are the different types of inputs in the Keras model? The answer is: Keras models accept 3 types of inputs. Firstly, NumPy arrays, just like scikit-learn and many other Python-based libraries. This is a good option if your data fits in memory. Secondly, TensorFlow dataset objects. This is a high-performance option that is more suitable for datasets that do not fit in memory and that are streamed from a disk or a distributed file system. Lastly, Python generators that yield batches of data, such as custom subclasses of the Keras.utils.sequence class. Question number 2. Who invented Keras? The answer is: François Chollet invented Keras and he is currently working as an AI researcher at Google. Question number 3. What are some of the regularization techniques? The answer is: the techniques are as follows. First, L2 and L1 regularization. Second, dropout. Third, early stopping. Fourth, data augmentation. Question number 4. What do you mean by L2 and L1 regularization techniques? The answer is: L2 and L1 are the most common types of regularization. Regularization works on the premise that smaller weights lead to simpler models, which result helps in avoiding overfitting. So to obtain a smaller weight matrix, these techniques add a regularization term along with the loss to obtain the cost function. Here, the cost function is equal to the loss plus regularization term. However, the difference between L1 and L2 regularization techniques lies in the nature of this regularization term. In general, the addition of this regularization term causes the values of the weight matrices to reduce, leading to simpler models. Question number 5. What is convolutional neural network? The answer is: a convolutional neural network is a deep learning algorithm that can take in an input image, assign importance to various aspects or objects in the image and be able to differentiate one from the other. The preprocessing required in a convnet is much lower as compared to other classification algorithms. While in primitive methods filters are hand-engineered, with enough training, convnets can learn these filters or characteristics. Question number 6. What is the role of multiple GPUs in Keras? The answer is: Keras has built-in industry-strength support for multi-GPU training and distributed multi-worker training, via the tf.distribute API. However, if you have multiple GPUs on your machine, you can train your model on all of them by: firstly, creating a tf.distribute.mirrored strategy object. Secondly, creating and compiling your model inside the strategy's scope. Lastly, calling fit and evaluate on a dataset as usual. Question number 7. What is the use of Keras preprocessing? The answer is: Keras preprocessing is the data preprocessing and data augmentation module of the Keras deep learning library. It provides utilities for working with image data, text data, and sequence data. Keras preprocessing is compatible with Python 2.7 to 3.6 and is distributed under the MIT license. Question number 8. What do you understand about callbacks? The answer is: callbacks are an important feature of Keras that is configured in fit. Callbacks are objects that get called by the model at different points during training, like: firstly, at the beginning and end of each batch. Secondly, at the beginning and end of each epoch. However, callbacks are a way to make the model trainable entirely scriptable. This can be used for periodically saving your model. Question number 9. What is a Keras tuner? The answer is: Keras tuner is an easy-to-use, scalable hyperparameter optimization framework that solves the pain points of hyperparameter search. In this, you can easily configure your search space with a defined by run syntax, then leverage one of the available search algorithms for finding the best hyperparameter values for your models. Further, Keras tuner comes with Bayesian optimization, hyperband, and random search algorithms built in, and is also designed to be easy for researchers to extend in order to experiment with new search algorithms. Question number 10. What is AutoKeras? The answer is: AutoKeras refers to an AutoML system based on Keras. It is developed by Data Lab at Texas A&M University. The purpose of AutoKeras is to make machine learning accessible for everyone. It provides high-level end-to-end APIs such as image classifier or text classifier to solve machine learning problems in a few lines, as well as flexible building blocks to perform architecture search. Question number 11. How can we create Keras models? The answer is: There are three ways to create Keras models. Firstly, by the sequential model. This is very straightforward, a simple list of layers, but is limited to single input, single output stacks of layers. Secondly, using the functional API. This is an easy-to-use, fully featured API that supports arbitrary model architectures. This is the Keras industry strength model. Lastly, by model subclassing. Here you implement everything from scratch on your own. Use this if you have complex, out-of-the-box research use cases. Question number 12. What are the different classes in a Keras tuner API? The answer is: firstly, the hyperparameters class is used for specifying a set of hyperparameters and their values, to be used in the model building function. Secondly, the tuner subclasses corresponding to different tuning algorithms are called directly by the user to begin the search or to get the best models. Thirdly, the oracle subclasses are the core search algorithms, receiving model evaluation results from the tuner and providing new hyperparameter values. Lastly, the hypermodel subclasses are predefined search spaces for certain model families like ResNet and ExceptionNet. Question number 13. What is artificial neural network? The answer is: artificial neural network is at the very core of deep learning, an advanced version of machine learning techniques. Artificial neural networks are versatile, adaptive, and scalable, making them appropriate for tackling large datasets and highly complex machine learning tasks such as image classification, example, Google Images, speech recognition, example, Apple's Siri, video recommendation, example, YouTube, or analyzing sentiments among customers, example, Twitter Sentiment Analyzer. Question number 14. What is cross-validation? The answer is: cross-validation is a method for examining a machine learning model and testing its performance. CV is mostly used in applied ML tasks. It helps in comparing and selecting an appropriate model for the specific predictive modeling problem. However, it is easy to understand, easy to implement, and it tends to have a lower bias than other methods used to count the model's efficiency scores. Question number 15. What are the algorithm steps used to cross-validate a model? The answer is: at first, divide the dataset into two parts, one for training, other for testing. Then, training the model on the training set. Validating the model on the test set. Lastly, repeat 1 to 3 steps a couple of times. This number depends on the CV method that you are using. Question number 16. What are the different types of cross-validation methods? The answer is: some of the cross-validation methods are: firstly, hold out k-folds. Then, leave one out. Thirdly, leave p out. Then, stratified k-folds. Next, repeated k-folds. Lastly, nested k-folds. Question number 17. What is an imbalance classification? The answer is: an imbalanced classification problem is an example of a classification problem in which the distribution of examples over the known classes is biased or skewed. The distribution can range from a slight bias to a severe imbalance where there is one example in the minority class for hundreds, thousands, or millions of examples in the majority class or classes. Further, this creates a challenge for predictive modeling, as most of the machine learning algorithms used for classification were designed around the assumption of an equal number of examples for each class. This results in models that have poor predictive performance, specifically for the minority class. Question number 18. What is image data augmentation in Keras? The answer is: image data augmentation is a method that can be used to artificially expand the size of a training dataset by creating modified versions of images in the dataset. However, training deep learning neural network models on more data can result in more skillful models, and the augmentation techniques can create variations of the images that can improve the ability of the fit models to generalize what they have learned to new images. And, the Keras Deep Learning Neural Network Library provides the capability to fit models using image data augmentation via the Image Data Generator class. Question number 19. What is a confusion matrix? The answer is: a confusion matrix, also known as an error matrix, is a specific table layout that allows visualization of the performance of an algorithm, typically a supervised learning one. Every row of a matrix represents the instances in an actual class, while each column represents the instances in a predicted class, or vice versa. The name stems from the fact that it makes it easy to see whether the system is confusing two classes. Further, it can be considered as a special kind of contingency table, with two dimensions, actual and predicted, and identical sets of classes in both dimensions. Question number 20. What do you mean by Keras? The answer is: Keras is a high-level API built on TensorFlow, and can be used on top of L2. It is more user-friendly and easy to use as compared to TensorFlow. Question number 21. Why is there a need for Keras? The answer is: Keras is an API designed for human beings, not machines. Keras follows best practices for reducing cognitive load, it offers consistent and simple APIs, minimizes the number of user actions required for common use cases, and provides clear and actionable feedback upon user error. Question number 22. What is flatten layer in Keras? The answer is: the role of the flatten layer in Keras is super simple. A flatten operation on a tensor reshapes the tensor to have a shape that is equal to the number of elements contained in the tensor. Question number 23. What is Keras dropout? The answer is: dropout is a regularization technique for neural network models proposed by Srivastava. It is a technique where randomly selected neurons are ignored during training. Question number 24. What is long short-term memory? The answer is: long short-term memory is an artificial recurrent neural network architecture used in the field of deep learning. Long short-term memory networks are well suited to classifying, processing and making predictions based on time series data, since there can be lags of unknown duration between important events in a time series. Question number 25. What are the examples of data processing in Keras? The answer is: firstly, neural networks don't process raw data, like text files, encoded JPEG image files, or CSV files. They process vectorized and standardized representations. Secondly, text files need to be read into string tensors, then split into words. Finally, the words need to be indexed and turned into integer tensors. Thirdly, images need to be read and decoded into integer tensors, then converted to floating points and normalized to small values, usually between 0 and 1. Lastly, CSV data needs to be parsed, with numerical features converted to floating point tensors and categorical features indexed and converted to integer tensors. Then each feature typically needs to be normalized to 0 mean and unit variance. Question number 26. What is the process of training a CNN? The answer is: the process for training a CNN for classifying images consists of the following steps. First, data preparation. In this step, we center crop the images and resize them so that all images for training and testing would be of the same size. Second, model definition. In this step, we define a CNN architecture. The configuration is stored in a protobuf file. Third, solver definition. In this, we define the solver configuration file. The solver does the model optimization. Fourth, model training. In this, we use the built-in Caffe utility to model. After the training is completed, Caffe stores the model in a file, which can, later on, be used on test data and final deployment for prediction. Question number 27. What is eager execution? The answer is: eager execution is a flexible machine learning platform for research and experimentation, providing an intuitive interface. Structure your code naturally and use Python data structures. Quickly iterate on small models and small data. Easier debugging. Call ops directly to inspect running models and test changes. Question number 28. What do you mean by TensorFlow Cloud and TensorFlow Lite? The answer is: TensorFlow Cloud is managed by the Keras team at Google. It refers to a set of utilities to help you run large-scale Keras training jobs on GCP with very little configuration effort. Running your experiments on 8 or more GPUs in the cloud should be as easy as calling model.fit. TensorFlow Lite is a runtime for an efficient on-device inference that has native support for Keras models. Deploy your models on Android, iOS, or on embedded devices. Question number 29. Is Keras a library? The answer is: yes, Keras is an open-source neural network library written in Python. Question number 30. What do you mean by the term regularization? The answer is: regularization is a method that makes slight modifications to the learning algorithm such that the model generalizes better. This in turn improves the model's performance on the unseen data as well. For more such videos, subscribe to our channel.